guess I've kind of gotten ahead of myself, or gotten ahead of you rather. Um, I put in a few scratches with charcoal, tried to keep it fairly loose. My idea is to have an old cabin that's just on the edge of the woods, you know, maybe a couple of trunks sitting in front of it. Old dilapidated thing with a backdrop of evergreens. Now, I don't know, that might be a little monotonous. We'll see. I'll try break it up with the sky when I get there. But the intention is to have sort of an overgrown field, you know, maybe somewhat marshy, just different clumps of grass, bunch grass, and you know, things like this, debris in the foreground. Very subdued. The cabin very subdued. Just behind the cabin, very dark. These trees kept quite dark until we get to the top of the trees, and then they'll start to pick up some possibly morning or evening light. So we'll start to get a little, so we'll go a little bluer and grayer in tones as we go down the painting. As we go towards the top, we'll end up with some warmer, a little bit higher chroma colors, higher temperature. So just playing again, you know, just sort of a steady-ish sort of idea. And that's where our field more or less meets with our shed. Anyway, that's the plan. Will it stay the plan? I don't know. I never know. But I like the idea, so that's what I'm going to push for. I think that's enough busyness in this area. Trying to sort of design where my trunks are as I go along. I don't have to stick to it, you know, stick to the plan, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe what I should bear in mind too is the idea of maybe some young trees, you know, at the beginning, maybe the odd one. Field, or rather marsh, some younger trees, the cabin, and then bigger, older trees in the background. But again, this is stuff I can play with as I go. You know what, let's just do that right now. Let's put in a couple of silly triangles. Just showing that they might be more, you know, the short, squat type of trees. Should I do it on this side? No, I don't. No, maybe one. How about one? Let's go with one. And then of course, you know, at the bottom of these trees, you're looking into the forest a little bit. There's no foliage on them. So things get quite dark down there. You can see where I'm not painting. Is more or less my tentative trunk positioning. Okay, so I've done that with what? Ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. Now I'm just going to dip into some raw umber. Add it to the pile. You won't see a lot of difference on this color, but it is more raw umber. Maybe maybe you see it on the camera, maybe you don't. I'm not sure. Once it's dry, you definitely see it. I know it's going to be a bit more of a mess when we get to the foreground here. Let me add a little bit of yellow ochre to that, because there will be a few spots catching a bit of light. That's going to go a bit greenish right now. That's fine. It's still cold. The main thing is it's cooler colors. It's kind of funny because in this painting I'm going to be competing against myself. Competing with myself, competing against myself. Because the greatest contrast between light and dark is likely to be the sky against the trees. Oddly enough, my plan is to have low light on those trees, which means they're actually going to look a little bit reddish. And my sky is going to be a bit greenish. Normally you'd think of a purplish sky with green trees. Well, trees don't always appear to be that green. Okay, that's the foreground more or less looked after. The background here. Okay, I'm not going to be too kind to it. Let's just take some cobalt blue and a little bit of yellow ochre. Staying with lower chromas. I'm mixing it into the pile as well, so it's heavily contaminated. And that's very green. It's okay. Let me add a bit of white to it. You know, so yeah, this will be the greatest delineation of values between here and here. However, the interesting part is in here. It's kind of framed, right? But I'm going to have to keep it subdued. So that's what I mean. We'll have this dramatic impact, this dramatic change of values here, and very strong shapes. But down here, we'll have the interesting area. So we'll just we'll see how that goes. I'll probably have to make a few adjustments as we work our way through it. But yeah, you know, I have this whole tinted canvas, and had I known beforehand, I probably never would have tinted it to begin with. But I don't, and I'm good with that. I don't care. I just like prepping the canvases. I never know what I'm going to do with them well beforehand. You know what the subject matter is going to be, what have you. All these trees are going to be fairly northern looking, because this will be a North Country scene, which means that there will be a lot of sharp spires, but I'm going to break them a little bit in spots so that they're not all triangles. I think you'll see the northernness in the trees once I get going on this, the actual painting of it. Very tempted to use a knife again, but I don't know if I will. You know, I have a brush that I could be using for doing this, for cutting it amongst the trees, that would do a tidier job. But the danger of that is sometimes you don't want a tidier job. Sometimes you kind of want it rough. So, alright, that's our look for the moment. Okay, now we want to drop that value a little bit. Give this brush a quick wipe. Again, I'm not cleaning it thoroughly. I'm just dipping it into my paint thinner and then wiping the excess out. I'm out of cobalt blue. I need some cobalt blue. Where are you, cobalt blue? We have some here. Okay. I could use a little more ultramarine as well. A little more ultramarine blue. Okay. Now, in the case of the cabin and the trunks, I am going to dip into a little bit of ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson. Actually, I'm going to throw a bit of burnt sienna in there as well. Just ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson takes forever to dry. Certainly I don't wash in, so I don't want that to be the case. I would like to keep moving with this painting. All right. Shadow under the eave. Maybe we'll shorten the cabin there a little bit. Door or doorway, I don't know, we'll see. It's another one of those low squat looking cabins. Window? Yeah, why not? Okay. Give Mr. Brush. No, actually, I'll add a little bit of white to that. I'll add just a hint of white to that. But we're going to go. In our wash in, we'll just keep it kind of toned down purple. You know, I'm definitely using this little brush now because I want to stay in control of this cabin. Okay. Add a little more raw umber to that for our roof line. Okay, I hope I'm not mumbling too much. I probably am. It's funny with the old program that was on my computer, the volume seemed to work out better. The pickup on the camera is okay, I know that. Alright, there's our little Kabbaniski. Okay, let's do these short trees in the foreground. We'll use cobalt blue and a bit of burnt sienna and a hint of white. They are completely in the shade, and I want them cool. Cool like Arthur Fonzarelli. I'm sure some of you guys out there will know who that is. Okay. A shot of cool foliage there. A bit there. A bit there. Okay, now we're going to go to... add a little more burnt sienna into our mix here. And is that light enough? Yes it is. Yes it is. Lay in some chunks. Yeah, you know, when you're washing in and you've got paint thinner in everything, or mixed with everything, your colors can tend to look, you know, if they're dark, they kind of tend to look all the same, but it doesn't take long when they start to dry up and you can see the difference. Okay? That's a very dark wash-in. And, you know, the painting's not going to be that light. I'm hoping that rather than looking like a foreboding or depressing painting, it looks maybe a little more intriguing or mysterious. Okay, I'm going to have to let it sit now for a while. And we'll see how the day goes. I might get back to you with some painting. Actually, I plan to. I can't guarantee it, but I plan to get back to you with another video later today, getting into the actual painting of it.